Zhou Yun is just a third-tier actress, but on the second day she accidentally stayed in the same hotel as the top male celebrity Song Chi. She became the underground girlfriend of Song Chi that caught the attention of the whole country and went viral. What surprised Zhou Yun even more was that Song Chi announced that he liked Zhou Yun. Zhou Yun was dumbfounded. At this moment, another woman stepped forward and said that she was Song Chi's first girlfriend, who had been in love for 8 years. Overnight, Zhou Yun became a nationally renowned mistress. Keywords of the novel. I became the protagonist of a scandal overnight without a pop-up window. I became the protagonist of a scandal overnight. Download the complete text. I became the protagonist of a scandal overnight. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The beginning of scandal. 01. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The beginning of scandal. 01. When Zhou Yun met Song Chi in the elevator last night, he greeted him with a smile on his face. After all, she is top class now, and the film pay of one play tops her 100 plays. In the past, it was a popular crispy fried chicken. In the present, Song Chi is the top class in the flow, and the fighter in the top class. Who knows, did you fall in love with Song Chi? One morning, Agent Zhou Lan made a phone call, and the tone of the voice increased by at least 8 decibels, which made Zhou Yun instinctively want to throw away his phone. She opened her eyes drowsily, feeling powerless. What kind of ghost? At this moment, she still doesn't know what happened. Zhou Lan said, "Stop pretending, you've all been photographed." Zhou Yun finally regained some consciousness and asked, "What did you get?" Compared to the inexplicable phrase, "You have all been photographed," what surprised Zhou Yun even more was Zhou Lan's tone. "Why are you so excited?" Zhou Lan said, "Do you know that within the hour you were trending on Weibo, several brands called me and wanted to cooperate with you?" After hearing these words, Zhou Yun finally woke up completely. Endorsement. It's not endorsement. If you bring the merchandise, the compensation will be quite good, Zhou Lan said. You can get at least one movie's pay. Zhou Yun's eyes suddenly shone brightly. Unlike Song Chi, Zhou Yun is just a transparent female artist who hasn't been in the industry for long, has starred in a single drama, and has a low reputation. The so-called transparent female artist refers to an unnamed artist like Zhou Yun who can receive work but cannot earn much money. In such a fame and fortune arena in the entertainment industry, Zhou Yun worked hard all year round to film, participate in various commercial performances and activities, but all combined, he couldn't match a fraction of Song Chi's play. Initially, Zhou Yun entered the entertainment industry because money came quickly and she needed money to pay off her debts. Wait a minute. Zhou Yun remained calm in the face of the huge temptation. Can you first explain clearly what happened when I was dating Song Chi? Zhou Lan said, you're still hiding here with me. I've told you all about it, and the paparazzi have all captured it. I asked why you haven't been in the right state these days. It turns out you're in a relationship. Zhou Yun, I've told you so many times that when it comes to dating, you must report it to the company. Look, how caught off guard we've been. Zhou Lan's words sounded inexplicably artificial. Although Zhou Lan's words may sound like blaming Zhou Yun can feel Zhou Lan's overjoyed mood through his phone. No, Lan Jie, listen to me, I haven't been in a relationship with anyone. Still pretending to be with me. I didn't pretend to be with you. Zhou Yun got up from bed, his watery eyes full of sleepless drowsiness. What's wrong with me? Don't you know? I owe so much debt now, how can I have the mood to date someone? Zhou Lan suddenly fell silent for several seconds. Based on Zhou Yun's understanding of Zhou Lan, Zhou Yun feels that Zhou Lan is not very willing to accept this reality. Zhou Yun has already realized that if the other party is Song Chi, Zhou Lan should be quite willing to see Zhou Yun dating him. Go to hell with all the rules that prohibit actresses from dating right after their debut. The other party is Song Chi, who is at the top of the line and a walking hotspot. He is a big star who can fly with anyone who can hang up. Zhou Lan may really feel that Zhou Yun is really dating Song Chi, which means that Zhou Yun is really going to become popular, and her agent is also going to make money with her. Zhou Yun shook his head helplessly and thought to himself, where are these things? Why did such a rumor come out? Which unscrupulous media is spreading rumors? Welcome everyone to use the reader's error correction function to help me catch bugs. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Beginning of Scandal. 02. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The Beginning of Scandal. 02. Did you really not fall in love with Song Chi? Zhou Lan's disappointed tone rushed towards her. Zhou Yun said, I don't even know him. Zhou Lan let out a long sigh and said, I'll just say, how could Song Chi fall in love with you? Zhou Yun widened his eyes and said, are you still physically attacking me? What's wrong with me? I'm so fair, beautiful, and knowledgeable. Who doesn't like me? Who does I need to be interested in? Alright. Since we haven't been in a relationship, let's just let it go. Zhou Lan let out a long sigh. Obviously, she was so disappointed that she didn't even have the interest to talk to Zhou Yun. After 2 seconds of silence, she suddenly asked again, so how did you two get caught? I saw pictures online, and you two both entered the hotel and elevator together. Zhou Yun. What kind of ghost? I just ran into him at the hotel yesterday, it was just a coincidence. I just said hello to him when I got into the elevator. You can go online and check it out yourself, Zhou Lan said. Since you haven't been in a relationship, they probably will send a clarification statement soon, and so on. Zhou Lan's voice suddenly rose, as if a cat had been stepped on its tail. We also need to quickly issue a statement, otherwise it will be like we deliberately hype up. Zhou Lan said, alright, I won't tell you anymore, hang up. After speaking, Zhou Lan hurriedly hung up the phone. After hanging up the phone, Zhou Yun saw multiple unread messages from himself. Basically, they all come to ask her about things with Song Chi. Zhou Yun didn't want to reply at all, so he went online to check himself and Song Chi. The current hot topic is the real exposure of Song Chi's girlfriend, without even Zhou Yun's name. However, her name is already on Weibo's hot search. Click in and take a look at the real-time Weibo content at the front. Zhou Yun. Where did the wild chicken come from to rub against my brother's heat? Zhou Yun was overjoyed and his eyelids twitched. He really wanted to get started and educate this child well. From childhood to adulthood, Zhou Yun did not follow the path of a lady from a wealthy family. He fought more fiercely in elementary school than a boy, and only then did he become more restrained as he grew up. In short, her temper is inversely proportional to her image and temperament. But the marketing accounts that released the news uploaded photos, and Zhou Yun clicked on them one by one, and the photos did indeed show her and Song Chi. Even she didn't realize that she had been in the same frame as Song Chi for so long. Whether it's the parking location, the front and back feet when entering the hotel, or in the elevator. I don't know who took these photos. Although there was no ambiguous gesture or expression between the two people, it created a sense of ambiguity that they were deliberately avoiding suspicion. The most awkward thing is that her and Song Chi's phone cases are actually the same. This is also where marketing accounts are putting in a lot of effort to write articles. For example, as a top performer, Song Chi dared not disclose his girlfriend and could only silently use the same phone case as his girlfriend. The same his mother phone case. Zhou Yun looked at the 4 words, bright red and purple, on his phone case and felt it was eye-catching. He quickly took off his phone case and threw it aside. Coincidentally, Yu Chu called. Are you still willing to call me? Zhou Yun said fiercely after answering the phone, did you see the hot search? If it weren't for the phone case you gave me, I could have caused such a big trouble. Yu Chu is a friend and actor that Zhou Yun has known since he became an actor. Zhou Yun's first play was made with Yu Chu. However, neither of them is a heroine. Instead, they played a supporting role and became closer to each other. Yu Chu apologized and said, "Didn't I come to call you right away to apologize? Blame me. In fact, when Yu Chu gave Zhou Yun this phone case, she thought that the 4 words, big red and purple, were good signs when she bought it for herself, so she also bought one for Zhou Yun. Zhou Yun, of course, was not really angry. He snorted lightly and said, "You must treat me to a meal because of this. I had a good dream just now and was awakened by a phone call from my agent because of this." Yu Chu asked, "Are you still at the hotel?" "That's right." Zhou Yun yawned as he spoke, "This is really a reckless disaster. I have to go to the production team to film in the afternoon." Yu Chu said, "Then be careful yourself. There are probably many paparazzi squatting on you in the midst of the storm right now." "What are you squatting on me for?" "You're going to squat on Song Chi. It's really boring, just a coincidence making a big fuss here, just opening your mouth and coming around aimlessly." Yu Chu smiled and spoke in a clear voice. "I think you're okay with your lively and abusive tone. I won't tell you anymore, so I'll call to inquire about your situation. The director called me and I have to hang up." "Well, go ahead." After hanging up the phone, Zhou Yun didn't want to look at his phone anymore. He threw it aside and fell back on the bed. Rumors. And Song Chi. She earnestly recalled seeing Song Chi in the elevator last night. Her face was indeed beautiful, with handsome features and a youthful aura in her eyebrows and eyes. "If we really fall in love with him," Zhou Yun gave a self-deprecating smile, thinking that she didn't have the energy to date now. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. The Beginning of Scandal. 03. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. The Beginning of Scandal. 03. The news online caused a stir, but Zhou Yun himself remained calm. Because knowing that this rumor is false, a statement or clarification can explain it clearly. The so-called staying in the same hotel is purely a coincidence. Zhou Yun didn't have much time to think about it either. She had to record a program in the afternoon, which Zhou Lan had put in a lot of effort to win for her. It was a popular variety show. She is beautiful and has a cheerful personality. According to Zhou Lan's idea, Zhou Yun easily attracts fans based on her personality. But the entertainment industry is not that simple, and there is no fixed template that has become popular. After trying for a while, Zhou Yun still hasn't left any impression on the public. Fortunately, Zhou Lan's ability was very strong, and Zhou Yun's work never stopped. He walked around without stopping, so as not to lose his job. Approaching noon, Zhou Lan came to the door with a makeup artist. As soon as he entered the door, Zhou Lan greeted the makeup artist to apply makeup to Zhou Yun, while reminding him to be waterproof. This kind of outdoor game and variety show is easy to sweat. With sharp eyes, he noticed a red mark on Zhou Yun's neck and exclaimed in surprise, "Zhou Yun, what's going on here?" After being reminded by Zhou Lan, Zhou Yun realized that there was a red mark on his neck. Scratched out, there were many mosquitoes in the filming area yesterday. Zhou Lan's eyes were full of suspicion. The makeup artist's gaze was the same. If it weren't for the sudden scandal that broke out this morning, this explanation would have been explained normally, but now Zhou Lan frowned slightly, wanting to say something, but was afraid that the makeup artist was still present, and hesitated to speak. But Zhou Yun could tell at a glance what these two people were thinking. "Don't think too much about it, you two. This is a mosquito biting a package, and I scratched it myself. It's not a small strawberry." "Don't think too much," Zhou Yun immediately said. Zhou Lan and the makeup artist are both familiar with her, and Zhou Yun speaks casually without any hesitation. Makeup artist Mei smiled and said, "Actually, it's not surprising for Song Chi to fall in love with us Xiao Yun just because of our appearance." Zhou Yun quickly said, May, don't say that. I really have nothing to do with him. After putting on makeup and changing clothes, Zhou Yun is about to go out. Zhou Lan personally drove Zhou Yun to the recording location. The company has not yet assigned a driver and assistant to Zhou Yun, and some things require Zhou Lan to personally handle. There's no other way. The director of this program is Zhou Lan's friend, otherwise we wouldn't be able to include Zhou Yun as a flying guest in an episode. Zhou Lan is preparing to personally go and say hello. In addition, Zhou Yun is currently at the forefront of the storm, with astonishing popularity. It is estimated that many paparazzi are watching her. Zhou Lan is not at ease with Zhou Yun's solo activities. She knows this sister-in-law well. She looks quite delicate and beautiful, but in fact, she has a very good idea in her heart. Our statement will be released soon. After the company issues the statement, don't respond or say anything on Weibo yourself, just let the heat continue. If this kind of heat is true, you can make some money and develop your career, but since it's a rumor and fake, it's best not to touch it at all to avoid getting embarrassed. Zhou Lan whispered to Zhou Yun. Walk down the corridor and reach the elevator entrance. Zhou Yun asked, hasn't Song Chi issued a statement yet? Zhou Lan frowned in confusion and said, speaking of which, they should react and move faster. Why hasn't there been any movement? It's not true. As the words fell, the elevator door opened, and the male protagonist of their previous conversation stood inside the elevator, unexpectedly meeting them. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. The Beginning of Scandal. 04. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. The Beginning of Scandal. 04 Awkwardness. Zhou Yun has always felt that he has a thick skin and can handle any occasion, but at this moment he still feels embarrassed. After all, it is natural for humans. Song Gu, Zhou Yun said hello. Song Chi remained silent, but a chubby man standing next to him gave a sinister sneer and said, oh, isn't this our rumored girlfriend of Song Gu? You're still stuck here. Song Chi was wearing sunglasses, and Zhou Yun could only see that his eyebrows furrowed slightly, and he shouted, Jade Tiger, in a low voice. Luo Yuhu, Song Chi's assistant. His sarcastic remarks did not anger Zhou Yun. Instead, Zhou Lan sneered at the corners of his mouth, hugged his chest with both hands, and stepped forward, precisely stepping on the switch of the elevator door, causing the elevator door that was about to close to retract. Is this hotel owned by your family? Why are you still stuck here and not leaving? Luo Yuhu and Zhou Lan stared at each other like wheat stalks with their needles pointed at each other. Zhou Yun let out a deep sigh and didn't want to have a conflict with someone at this moment, especially Song Chi. Song, I'm not sure what's going on with this photo and the rumor, but our company will soon issue a clarification statement. Song Chi nodded lightly and nodded. Zhou Yun pulled Zhou Lan and said, Lan Jie, let's wait for the next trip. There are probably reporters under the hotel building, so it's not good for us to go out of the elevator with Song Gu. Zhou Lan reluctantly withdrew his foot. Luo Yuhu sneered and muttered softly, what should we pretend to be? Upon hearing these words, Zhou Lan's eyebrows furrowed and he let out a growl as the elevator door closed. This bastard. Zhou Lan scolded. Zhou Yun said calmly, Lan Jie, forget it, there's no need to argue with a mentally disabled person. Zhou Lan still exclaimed angrily, I must tear off that brainless mouth if I have the chance. It smells like soaking in a cesspool. After speaking, Zhou Wangkai suddenly remembered something and turned to look at Zhou Yun with a surprised expression. He asked, why are you holding your temper so well today? Don't you usually curse faster than me? Zhou Yun looked serious. Song Chi is good looking, and I want to maintain my image in front of the handsome little brother. Zhou Lan immediately rolled a huge white eye. Zhou Yun is actually not a Yen Kong. Of course, everyone likes good looking skin bags. What Yan Kong means is that she won't lose her sanity just because someone looks good. She just didn't want to spend too much time explaining to Zhou Lan why she had just restrained her temper. Zhou Lan is a very capable agent, but unlike most agents, her temper is not as smooth and straightforward. Due to this personality, she has made some friends and offended some people. Since Zhou Lan has already scolded her back, if she scolds her back again, it will be purely a repetition of labor and will leave Zhou Lan without a step down. It's better for her to remain calm and hold on to Zhou Lan. After Zhou Lan counterattacks and returns, it will end smoothly. On the other hand, no matter how you look at this matter, she is the one who benefits. Even if she clarifies, it cannot be denied that her name is known by more people. Zhou Yun didn't want to take advantage of others and insisted on having a clear argument with them on such trivial matters. Song Chi himself is a top tier, and he understands that rumors are not necessarily hyped up by the protagonist. Just explain some things clearly. No, it's not. Zhou Yun pulled out sunglasses and put them on for himself, along with headphones. This is her shield after being attacked by the media with long guns and short cannons. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The Beginning of Scandal. 05. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The Beginning of Scandal. 05. Before arriving at the filming location of the program, Zhou Yun Company issued a statement. Zhou Lan first checked the situation of Song Chi's company, studio, and his personal social account, but there was no news. Why is it so strange? Zhou Lan frowned and said, there hasn't been any movement from Song Chi's side until now. For top-tier celebrities like Song Chi, there will definitely be a dedicated public relations team to handle such scandals in the first place. No matter how slow their reaction speed is, it should not be slower than that of Zhou Yun, a third-tier celebrity. It has been a whole morning. Song Chi's name still ranks first on hot searches. Zhou Yun said, if there is no movement, there will be no movement. We just need to make a statement. If only you two were really in love, Zhou Lan suddenly said. Zhou Yun has a black line on his head. Lan Jie, can you stop dreaming? You don't even know how many people have come to me in this short morning to inquire about you and discuss cooperation. Zhou Lan said, I don't like to talk about data either, but now this industry likes to talk about data. What can I do? Before that, did you go on the trending search? Do others know your name? Zhou Yun doesn't want to listen to Zhou Lan's nagging. Alright, I understand, but I really haven't been in a relationship with Song Chi, so don't talk about me anymore, Zhou Yun said. I work hard in filming, and strive to become popular earlier, so that you can also make big money earlier. Speaking, we arrived at the recording studio of the program. But it happened quite coincidentally. I wanted you to appear on this program before, and it took me several meals to get it done. They really picked it up for nothing. Zhou Lan helped Zhou Yun with a sunshade umbrella and escorted him all the way in. Cheap them. The program that Zhou Yun is going to record is called The Weather is Really Nice, which is an outdoor game variety show that is very popular. A variety show, but the staff is like a small crew. Zhou Lan saw the director with Zhou Yun and immediately changed his face. His smile was very bright and he shouted, Director Wang. Director Wang Ken, a middle-aged man in his early 40s, wore a fisherman's hat and looked at them with a smile on his face. Oh, Xiaolan is here, he said, Xiao Yun, this is Director Wang Ken. It's all because of what Director Wang said for you to come to this program. Thank you for his support. Zhou Yun smiled sweetly and softly, shouting, Wang Dao. Wang Ken raised his right hand and patted Zhou Yun's shoulder, saying with a smile, the real person is even more beautiful than in the camera. Zhou Yun smiled even more brilliantly and said, You've seen so many beautiful women and even said I'm beautiful. It seems that I'm really beautiful. The smile on Zhou Yun's face was full of confidence, with a bright color. Wang Ken's eyes became more meaningful, and he turned to Zhou Lan and said, "Your taste is really good." Zhou Lan smiled and reached out to pat Wang Ken on his body, "So why bother? However, I heard that you and Song Qi are dating." Wang Ken looked at Zhou Yun again. "I woke up today and heard many people talking." Zhou Yun didn't speak. Zhou Lan rolled his eyes with a smile and said, "Come on, Director Wang. If others believe that paparazzi are talking nonsense, don't be fooled by us. How dare we climb up high? We've been scolded to the point all morning, and last night we happened to stay in the same hotel and were secretly photographed by paparazzi. These days, spreading rumors doesn't have to cost anything. I'm so angry." Upon hearing this, Wang Ken seemed quite regretful. It's just paparazzi spreading rumors. It's time someone came out to deal with these nonsense people. After chatting, Wang Ken said, "You guys go prepare first. I still have some final confirmation steps on my end." "What time is it now?" "Let me see. It's around 2 o'clock. Our program will start recording in an hour, and someone will call you then." "Okay, you're busy for now." Zhou Lan took Zhou Yun to the restroom prepared for them by the program team. A popular program is a popular program, and anyone who is a guest, regardless of the number of lines, has an independent lounge. Zhou Yun and Zhou Lan entered the lounge, and Zhou Lan said, "You need to rest for a while. Today's recording is estimated to end in the early hours of the evening, and we will also take promotional photos later. Are you with me throughout the journey?" Zhou Yun asked. "I didn't originally plan to accompany you throughout the journey, but today's situation is special and I can only accompany you," Zhou Lan said. "You can rest, I have to deal with some work, and I haven't received many messages yet." Zhou Yun nodded. She sat down on the sofa, ready to look at her phone for a while, when suddenly someone knocked on the door. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. The Beginning of Scandal. 06. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. The Beginning of Scandal. 06. Who will knock on the door? Zhou Yun didn't move. Zhou Lan would handle this unfamiliar place. The person knocking on the door was a young girl with festive features and sparkling eyes, probably around 20 years old. "Hello, I'm Lin Xiaomiao. I would like to start with a backup procurement." Zhou Lan did not directly release people, but expressed confusion. "Backup procurement? Didn't we say during our previous communication that backup procurement would be placed after the program was recorded?" Lin Xiaomiao said, "Ah. Is that right? I'm not sure about the situation. The notice I just received is to make a backup procurement for Zhou Yun. Is it convenient? We have also arranged for the shooting of promotional photos later. Is it too late?" Zhou Lan asked. Lin Xiaomiao said, "We are preparing for procurement very quickly, with only a few questions, and we will broadcast them as behind the scenes. Zhou Yun is just a small artist who doesn't make excessive demands. Even if there is no prior communication, it is not easy to refuse directly to avoid falling into a bad reputation for cooperation. For artists like Zhou Yun who have no background and are not yet popular, if their reputation is not well managed, they will not be able to get a job." Zhou Yun could hear clearly inside and had already sat up straight. When Lin Xiaomiao brought the photographer in, a sweet smile had already appeared on her face. "Hello Xiaomiao." Both sides exchanged pleasantries, put on earphones, tested the sound, and were about to start the official procurement when suddenly someone knocked on the door. Zhou Lan went to open the door, and the other person was wearing a work sign with the words, "This weather is really nice," written on it. Zhou Lan suddenly remembered that Lin Xiaomiao and the photographer she brought did not wear this sign. "Are you Lan Jie?" This person is a young man in his 20s, who smiled a little when he met. "We would like to invite Zhou Yun over and take some promotional photos." Upon hearing this, Zhou Lan turned around and glanced at Lin Xiaomiao and the others, saying, she's currently preparing for the harvest. She just arrived and hasn't finished yet. Preparation. The young man looked puzzled. The preparation we arranged for Zhou Yun is after the recording is over. Zhou Lan stood aside and pointed to Lin Xiaomiao and the others inside, saying, the arrangement we received before was the same, but just now we suddenly said there was a change. The young man glanced at the person inside and his face became even more puzzled. Which group are you from? How come I have never seen you before? Upon hearing these words, Zhou Lan was immediately stunned. After realizing it, he hurriedly walked over. Where are your work permits? Let me take a look. Lin Xiaomiao and the photographer had a hint of panic on their faces. We didn't bring it, forget it. Since you still have the task of shooting promotional photos, let's come back later. Lin Xiaomiao finished speaking and left with the photographer. Wait. Zhou Lan didn't even realize something was wrong. He reached out and grabbed Lin Xiaomiao's arm, grabbing her. Who the hell are you? The young man saw this scene and turned around and shouted into the corridor, call for security. Zhou Yun looked bewildered and had no idea what had happened. 10 minutes later, Zhou Yun realized that these two people were not staff members arranged by the program team. They were paparazzi who had infiltrated and wanted to use the name of Bei Kai to obtain Zhou Yun's exclusive interview video. Scammer. Zhou Lan's face turned pale with anger after learning the truth. Call the police. Upon hearing the news, Director Wang came over with the producer. After hearing about the specific situation, his face also felt a bit uneasy. How did you do it? Why didn't our people also come in? Director Wang scolded the people beside him angrily. The people around looked at each other. The filming of a variety show is already crowded and eye-catching, but the management has always been strict. If these two people can get in, it must have been brought in by someone on the set. Zhou Lan saw the director lose his temper and didn't say much anymore. Director Wang, forget it. Fortunately, we discovered it in time and didn't cause any losses. The filming is about to start, so please be busy first. Zhou Lan could only understand the main meaning. After all, it's someone else's program team, surrounded by staff from various departments. Zhou Lan doesn't want Zhou Yun to be caught up in public opinion disputes at this time. Who knows if anyone will deliberately make some fake news out. Anyway, nowadays, with just one sentence, there is an internal leak, smoke bombs can be released paradoxically, splashing dirty water on people. Director Wang and the producer comforted Zhou Yun again before leaving. From beginning to end, Zhou Yun only stood silently behind Zhou Lan, occasionally smiling and not speaking. After everyone had left, Zhou Lan turned around and asked, "Are you okay?" "It's nothing, I have to thank you very much, young man. It was you who discovered in time that we discovered something was wrong with those two people just now." Zhou Yun smiled and said to Su Jijia, who was still standing at the door, "Thank you very much." Su Jijia's face suddenly turned red. "No, thank you very much." Zhou Yun said, "Didn't you say you wanted to take promotional photos? Let's go, we've already wasted time. Hurry up and take photos, don't delay the filming of the program." End of this chapter. Chapter 7. The Beginning of Scandal. 07. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. The Beginning of Scandal. 07. Arriving at the filming site, I happened to encounter another person who had just finished filming. Zhou Yun recognized her as the resident MC of The Weather Is So Good, Lu Qingqing. Lu Qingqing has been very popular in recent years. It was because of the variety show, The Weather Is Really Nice, that she became famous. She is very beautiful, with delicate features, belonging to the level of the most dazzling pearl on various red carpets. Several people followed around Lu Qingqing, and both sides met at the door. Zhou Yun stepped aside and smiled. Who knew that Lu Qingqing stopped and looked at her thoughtfully, showing a smile and saying, "Are you today's flying guest?" Zhou Yun didn't expect Lu Qingqing to take the initiative to greet her. In this circle, there are actually some class distinctions. Popular celebrities only interact with them, while third-tier celebrities like Zhou Yun are not in the same world as others. On camera, they can be friends, while off-camera, they politely exchange 2 or 3 greetings and turn their faces around to become strangers. Zhou Yun has heard that Lu Qingqing's temper is not particularly good. Why did he take the initiative to greet her today? The answer is not difficult to think of. "Hello Qingqing, I'm Zhou Yun." Zhou Yun opened his mouth and called out. Lu Qingqing said, "Are you here to take promotional photos?" Zhou Yun nodded, smiling and pretending to be obedient. Lu Qingqing nodded and said, "Then hurry up and shoot. The program will start recording soon, don't delay." At this point, the small talk ended. Leaving the filming scene, Lu Qingqing put away her smile on her face. "I heard that a paparazzi just pretended to be a staff member of the production team and stormed into Zhou Yun's lounge." Lu Qingqing's assistant shared the gossip she had heard. Lu Qingqing's mouth curved with a hint of sarcasm and said, "If there is a rumor about Song Qi, the heat will naturally increase." Before the official recording of the program began, the director arranged for all the guests to meet for this episode. There are a total of 4 flying guests recorded in this episode, 2 of whom are well-known artists. Zhou Yun and another young person are both newcomers who have just debuted. On the scene, everyone greeted each other happily and got to know each other, not to mention enthusiasm. When the program officially starts recording, the scene of greeting will be reinterpreted in the camera, and this time everyone will be much more enthusiastic. When Zhou Yun appeared, he ran out with a sweet smile and walked into the camera. "Wow, I'm tempted. Even more beautiful than in the photo. It reminds me of my first love. Lu Qingqing, hurry up and leave. I need to team up with Zhou Yun today." The resident MCs began to exaggerate one by one, while Lu Qingqing pretended to be angry and hit people. At this moment, Zhou Yun could only smile shyly. Under the sunshine, Zhou Yun's smile was sweet, like a young girl walking out of the campus. "Welcome Zhou Yun. Let's talk and laugh." The opening recording is over, and everyone starts changing clothes to prepare for the first game segment. The changing room prepared by the production team for them was built on site. Men have one area, women have one area. In this episode, there are 2 resident MC women, one is Lu Qingqing and the other is Su Yan. The flying guests are also 2, one is Zhou Yun and the other is the well-known female singer, Chen Quaniying. 4 women entered the 4 compartments, changed into sportswear, and came out, concentrating in front of the mirror to check their makeup and hair. Zhou Yun was the last one to come out, and Lu Qingqing was joking with Chen Quaniying. "Miss Ng, you are a little thinner than the last time I saw you." Chen Quaniying has a straightforward temper and is applying lipstick to himself. "Nonsense, I'm not thin at all." Lu Qingqing's face was a bit awkward, she smiled and said, "I really feel thin looking at it." Su Yan sneered and glanced at Lu Qingqing in the mirror, saying, "Ng Jia is not the kind of person who likes to be flattered. You should save your time." Zhou Yun's pupils trembled and he dared not approach for a moment. "I have heard about the discord between Lu Qingqing and Su Yan for a long time, but I didn't expect that outside of the camera, their relationship was already so bad that they couldn't even pretend." Lu Qingqing smiled innocently and said, "I didn't flatter you. Ng Jia looks really thin." Zhou Yun felt that he should hide by the side and pretend to be foolish. Who knew that at this moment, Lu Qingqing turned around and said, "Zhou Yun, what do you think?" Zhou Yun smiled awkwardly, only to find that Su Yan was also looking at her, his eyes somewhat playful, as if curious about what Zhou Yun would say. When working, the most annoying thing may be this situation. Despite having nothing to do with oneself, 2 opposing individuals demanded a stance of standing in line. Between lightning and fire, Zhou Yun felt that no matter what he said, he would offend someone. He could only continue to pretend to be foolish, with a bewildered expression on his face. Ah! What? She pretended not to have heard what they were saying before. Are we leaving now? The director just said we'll be leaving in 10 minutes. Lu Qingqing and Su Yan curled their lips at the same time, but neither of them spoke. At this moment, Chen Kuining fixed his lipstick for himself. She put her lipstick into her small bag, turned around and glanced at Zhou Yun. With a sigh, she smiled and said, "Are you the person who spread rumors about Song Qi today?" Zhou Yun approached politely and said, "Hello Ing, I am Zhou Yun." Chen Kuining asked, "Are you two really in love?" Zhou Yun shook his head, feeling a bit helpless, and said, "It's all made up by paparazzi. I don't even know him." Chen Kuining burst out laughing twice and said, "I'll tell you, these paparazzi are really tasteless. They dare to say anything and make up anything." She said, "Once you've changed your clothes, let's go out. Don't let others wait for us for too long." Zhou Yun followed Chen Kuining down the slope and left this small changing room. Before leaving the door, she turned around and glanced at Lu Qingqing and Su Yan. Su Yan looked at her coldly, with a hint of repulsion in her eyes. Is this blaming her for not taking the initiative to stand on her side just now? Zhou Yun smiled as if he didn't know, and said to the two, "Then let's go out first." End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The Beginning of Scandal. 08. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The Beginning of Scandal. 08 Chen Kuining is already in his early 40s and has been famous for more than 10 years. He has attended the Spring Festival Gala several times and has a high level of national popularity. She came to participate in this program, on the one hand because it was very popular, and on the other hand because she hadn't been out for an event for a long time. Anyway, she hasn't retired from the industry yet, so she can't just stay silent and come out at the invitation of the director. Zhou Yun is very respectful to Chen Kuining, taking turns with each bite. Chen Kuining has an old-fashioned style, no matter what is on his mind, he will never be at odds with a young person on the surface. It seems that the two of them are still talking and laughing happily. Zhou Lan stood next to the director's team. After a while, Lu Qingqing and Su Yan appeared. The two of them held hands and walked over with smiles as they spoke. Zhou Yun saw it from afar and shook his mind, almost thinking he had read it wrong. Looking again, there was a photographer carrying a camera beside them, and Zhou Yun finally understood. A disagreement is a disagreement. It doesn't matter if the rumors spread, but in front of the camera, you still need to act harmoniously. Otherwise, they are all permanent MCs. How can this program continue? There are things that can be done, but they cannot be left to the mouth. All guests have changed their clothes and are ready. The director raised his horn and said, "Our first game is Muddy Battle." The rule of the Muddy Battle is that everyone is divided into two teams, competing for the 3 balls in the mud and throwing them into the corresponding baskets. The team that throws the more balls wins. This is the classic game of "The Weather is Beautiful." The team has already been pre-assigned, but during the official shooting, there is also a round of drawing lots to divide the team. Variety shows have scripts, but the difference is that some scripts are just an outline and a guide, while others are detailed to include some jokes and effects. The weather is really nice, but there is a script on the big picture, such as 3 balls, 3 rounds. The first 2 rounds are arranged for 2 teams to win once each, but the last round is not arranged with a script, all based on the actual strength of the teams. This arrangement is also to add some suspense to the competition, so as not to give people a one-sided effect due to one side's strong strength. Zhou Yun and Lu Qingqing were assigned to a team. Su Yan and Chen Kuining were assigned to another team. This is also to balance the strength of the two teams. In terms of physical strength, women are not as good as men, so 2 are placed on each side. In the camera, Lu Qingqing naturally stood with Zhou Yun. We'll rest next to you. Be careful and don't get caught up in it. These men are particularly savage when grabbing the ball. Seemingly a whispering to Zhou Yun, it was a friendly reminder. Of course, Lu Qingqing's follow-up has already recorded this scene. Zhou Yun smiled and said, I'm a bit nervous when I first arrived. Qingqing, I'll follow you later. Don't worry, I'll cover you. Lu Qingqing chuckled. A whistle sounded and the first round began. The men ran hard towards the ball across from the mud. Zhou Yun followed Lu Qingqing's footsteps and worked hard to take a few steps forward. Walking in the mud, the resistance is particularly high. For women, their physical strength is inherently weak, making it even more difficult. Zhou Yun never thought about rushing into the crowd of men to grab the ball. This is a funny variety show, and the important thing is to capture the camera and show off the side that attracts fans. For example, Lu Qingqing did not rush forward, but waved her hands and fully devoted herself to cheering on her team. At this moment, Zhou Yun noticed that Su Yan and Chen Kuining were secretly walking towards the edge of the quagmire on the other side. Quick catch! Zhang Haichen from the other team shouted ahead, throwing a ball that had already been rolled in the mud and flew out, landing next to Su Yan and the others. Ah! Lu Qingqing screamed. Zhou Yun, stop them quickly. Zhou Yun immediately rushed up with Lu Qingqing. They stopped Chen Kuining and Su Yan together. The ball is in Su Yan's hand. Zhou Yun saw the situation and directly stepped forward to grab the ball. Su Yan immediately hugged the ball and shouted, Jie, help. Zhou Yun tried to snatch the ball from Su Yan's hand while laughing, give me the ball. Su Yan screamed, Zhou Yun, why is your strength so strong? Zhou Yun struggled to hold the ball and pull it backwards. Suddenly, Su Yan let go of his hand, and Zhou Yun fell into the mud while holding the ball due to inertia. My whole face was covered in mud. Zhou Yun struggled to get up, but it was not so easy to get up in the mud. They all rushed forward. Lu Qingqing helped suppress Su Yan, and Chen Kuining snatched the ball from Zhou Yun. 4 women fought in a melee. The men were actually afraid to step forward. They were not idle either, and began to act as guides one by one. Wow, these women are really terrifying. Isn't she usually a fairy? Su Yan has grabbed the ball. Zhou Yun only felt that her body was being suppressed by several people, and the ball in her hand was being picked away. She looked at it and saw that it was Su Yan. Jie, I've grabbed the ball. Su Yan exclaimed in surprise. Chen Kuining took the ball from Su Yan's hand and sprinted towards the basket ahead. According to the arranged script, this game is won by Su Yan and her team. Lu Qingqing caught up in a dress. Zhou Yun was about to get up from the mud when he suddenly kicked her in the head and kicked her back into the mud. Take a mouthful of mud into your mouth. Cough. With a whistle, Chen Kuining scored a goal. She let out a cheer. Sigh, Lu Qingqing sighed and turned to help Zhou Yun. She looked concerned and asked, are you okay? Zhou Yun shook her head and spat out the mud from her mouth. It was actually a bit embarrassing, but she still smiled brightly and innocently with mud all over her face, even causing a sense of pity in her life due to her pitifulness. They are too strong. Lu Qingqing supported Zhou Yun's hand and walked towards the edge of the mud pool together. It's okay, we'll win back next time. Lu Qingqing was full of fighting spirit. Walking to the shore, Su Yan handed over 2 towels. God, as soon as Zhou Yun too came back, we applied a mud facial mask to our program. Zhang Haichen said with an exaggerated smile. Zhou Yun took the towel and wiped away the mud from his face. His white and tender smile remained bright, pretending to be helpless. I know this program is very brutal, but I didn't expect it to be so brutal, he said. Lu Qingqing is also wiping her face. But Zhou Yun is really amazing. He was so strong when he first came, too strong. Lu Qingqing said, I've never been able to snatch the ball from Su Yan's hands. Chen Kuining laughed and said, this is really impressive. Zhou Yun looks like he has small arms and legs, but he didn't expect his strength to be really strong. A few people chatted, but no one mentioned the kick that Zhou Yun was kicked just now. I don't know if I didn't see it or if I silently pressed the button. Zhou Yun didn't mention it either, just assumed that nothing had happened. As for who kicked that kick, there are numbers in Zhou Yunshin's heart. Zhou Yun is not someone who allows others to bully her, but when she can tolerate it, she also tolerates it and doesn't want to cause more trouble. Moreover, it was already a game just now, so it's understandable to accidentally kick her. If we really want to investigate, there is no evidence. This is their home ground, we can't win it. But Zhou Yun has a number in his heart, remember it. After playing games all afternoon, I was exhausted. In the evening, Zhou Yun and the others went to the bathroom prepared by the production team to clean themselves, and then they had to change clothes and set off for the next location. Dinner is a part of the program recording. The group took a bus. This is a tacit chat session. Zhou Yun, how did you feel when you first came to our program today? Lu Qingqing took the initiative to ask. Zhou Yun's eyes lit up and he clenched his hands, saying, "It's so fun." As discussed with Zhou Lan at the beginning, in this program, newcomers should not be too dominant or appear too weak. Be simple, work hard, and at the same time be in a positive state. This is the route planned by the company for her, a female artist with a sweet smile and a positive image. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. The Beginning of Scandal. 09. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. The Beginning of Scandal. 09. Su Yan sat on the right side of Lu Qingqing and Zhou Yun. She leaned in and looked curious, asking, "Did you know each other before?" Lu Qingqing immediately replied, "This is our first meeting today." "Did you know Zhou Yun before?" "Of course, it's also my first time meeting," Su Yan said, "but I was also startled when I saw the hot search this morning." Zhou Yun said innocently, "The paparazzi made it up." "I remember you were filming with Song Qi, right?" Lu Qingqing asked Su Yan in reverse. "You should be the clearest about whether Zhou Yun is Song Qi's girlfriend." Upon hearing this, Su Yan's eyes flickered and he laughed twice, saying, "Although we are filming on the same set, how could I know about this kind of thing?" At first glance, this may sound fine, but in reality, it is still being vague. Lu Qingqing's previous statement was to have Su Yan play the role of a witness and clarify this rumor. But Su Yan only avoided the important and gave people an implicit meaning, even if Song Qi and Zhou Yun were in love, she wouldn't know. Zhou Yun had to emphasize again, "I don't know teacher Song Qi." Lu Qingqing patted the back of Zhou Yun's hand and said, "All right, don't worry. Fans are very smart now and won't be led by paparazzi by the nose. Don't worry." Zhou Yun smiled gratefully at Lu Qingqing. On the side, Su Yan took out sunglasses from her bag and put them on for herself. Chen Kuining, who was chatting with others, saw the situation and directly asked, "Su Yan, what sunglasses are you wearing when the sun has set?" "Pretend to be cool." In one sentence, Su Yan almost broke his mark. Zhou Yun keenly observed a twitch at the corner of Su Yan's mouth. "I have long heard that Chen Kuining has a straightforward personality, and there are many rumors in the industry that she is pushing others. When I saw her today, it was really unique. At least, Zhou Yun has been in the industry for so long, and it is the first time she has seen someone expose someone so directly. If we don't include things like Lu Qingqing and Su Yan, there are inherent contradictions." Su Yan took off her sunglasses, pursed her mouth, and said in grievance, "Oh, Jia, I'm tired. Do you want to take a nap in the car?" Even Su Yan dared not confront Chen Kuining directly. Lu Qingqing didn't miss this opportunity and threw a stone at her archenemy, "Then let me change positions with you. I happen to want to chat with Jia. When I was in school, I loved listening to Jia's songs and even went to her concerts with friends." Su Yan's eye blades swung over in an instant. Chen Kuining looked at Lu Qingqing in surprise and said, "Have you ever heard of my concert?" "Yes, 5 years ago, BJ Works." Lu Qingqing said, "Do you remember?" "I remember, of course I remember my concert." Chen Kuining turned his head and said to Su Yan, "Aren't you going to sleep for a while? Since Lu Qingqing wants to change seats with you, hurry up and move over." Su Yan's expression was a bit awkward, as if she was caught on a fire and couldn't get down. This was driven away. Su Yan couldn't swallow this breath, but she had no choice but to break her teeth and swallow it into her stomach. She changed seats with Lu Qingqing. There was still a camera shooting, and Zhou Yun laughed and called out "Yen Yen Jia." Su Yan nodded with a stern expression and put on his sunglasses again, unsure if he had really fallen asleep. Zhou Yun just took out her phone and turned slightly to prevent Su Yan from seeing her phone screen. She sent a message to Zhou Lan. "Did you see it this afternoon?" Zhou Lan. "What?" Zhou Yun said, "Su Yan kicked me." Zhou Lan. "What?" "When playing games." "She probably didn't mean it, did she?" Zhou Yun. "No, she did it on purpose because I didn't stand by her side and fought against each other. Instead, I had a close relationship with Lu Qingqing." Zhou Lan. "Are they really not compatible?" Zhou Yun. "When changing clothes, I tore my face directly." Zhou Lan. "Don't be impulsive now. Let's finish the table of contents before we talk. Don't forget what you want to show in the camera." Zhou Yun. "I know, but remember to ask someone for a video backup." Zhou Lan. "Leave this matter to me, rest assured." After explaining clearly, Zhou Yun breathed a sigh of relief and then turned his head to look at Su Yan. Su Yan suddenly spoke with a cold voice, "What's up?" "Sure enough, I didn't sleep." Zhou Yun looked bewildered and said, "Ah. Yan Yan, what's wrong?" Su Yan let out a gasp, didn't say anything, and fell silent again. Zhou Yun smiled helplessly, turned his head, and looked out the window. The smile in his eyes finally faded. At the dinner place, there was a large table. After everyone sat down, the director and photographers were also ready. The empty space in front of the table was filled with people, but in the camera, only the artists were present. Su Yan had a greedy expression on her face and said, "I'm so hungry. I feel like I can eat a cow now." Lu Qingqing immediately said, "Me too. I'm really hungry, director. I shouldn't have any more tasks, right? Just have dinner." The two girls eagerly looked at the camera with a pleading expression on their faces. A beautiful girl always makes her heart soften when she looks like this. But how could a director be soft-hearted? Of course. There is a task. Su Yan and Lu Qingqing both let out a sigh at the same time, but did not argue. The following men also started complaining. "Director, what about emotions? What about love for us? No recording, no recording. I announce that this episode will be my final recording. That's too much. It's all performances, all acting, all effects in the camera. Zhou Yun is not the protagonist, just smile helplessly. Laugh beautifully, be a beautiful vase. Xiao Yun, please sit next to me." After Lu Qingqing took her seat, she took the initiative to greet her, "Come on." Zhou Yun sat over. "Lu Qingqing, did you mean it?" Zhang Haichen suddenly widened his eyes. "I told you I wanted to sit with Xiao Yun tonight." Zhou Yun was taken aback and looked at Zhang Haichen in confusion. Lu Qingqing smiled triumphantly and said, "Humph, don't harm us, Xiao Yun. She's so innocent." Zhou Yun looked bewildered. Zhang Haichen sighed and faced the camera with a gloomy expression on his face. Zhou Yun understood, it's a variety show effect again. She smiled and hugged Lu Qingqing's arm. Upon seeing this scene, Su Yan's face didn't look very good, and her gaze towards Zhou Yun even showed a little more disgust. Of course, this disgust avoided the camera. Zhou Yun originally didn't want to get involved in a fight between Su Yan and Lu Qingqing, but Su Yan's afternoon kick made Zhou Yun feel angry. No matter how much passion and closeness Lu Qingqing had towards her in front of the camera was just acting, at least Lu Qingqing didn't do this to her. Zhou Yunle is deeply in love with Lu Qingqing's sisters, which enrages Su Yan. In the upcoming filming, Zhou Yun and Lu Qingqing became even more intimate, holding hands or hugging Lu Qingqing at any time. Intimate like a best friend who grew up together since childhood. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. The beginning of scandal. 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. The beginning of scandal. 10. It wasn't until midnight that the recording ended smoothly. After turning off the screen, the exhausted artists exchanged pleasantries and prepared to withdraw. Teams from all over come forward, delivering water to those who deliver water, and delivering mobile phones to those who deliver mobile phones. The scene is a bit chaotic. Zhou Lan returned his phone to Zhou Yun and said, "We have another backup for procurement later." Zhou Yun nodded and said, "I remember. Actually, I'm already tired." At this point on weekdays, Zhou Yun didn't sleep, but today he had a whole day of recording, playing various games, and maintaining a high level of mental alertness in front of the camera. Now, when he feels discouraged, he is exhausted. Lu Qingqing suddenly walked over and asked, "Zhou Yun, I heard you have some ready to pick later. I have hot coffee here, would you like to drink a bottle? Low sugar." The camera has been turned off, and Zhou Yun didn't expect Lu Qingqing to take the initiative to talk to her. "Okay, thank you, Miss Qingqing." Zhou Yun will naturally receive the kindness he voluntarily throws over. "Thank you very much for taking care of Zhou Yun today," Zhou Lan said with gratitude. Lu Qingqing looked at Zhou Lan and waved her hand with a smile, saying, "Take care of each other. I have to catch up on the next notice and talk again next time I have a chance. Goodbye." Zhou Yun waved goodbye to Lu Qingqing. At this moment, Su Yan suddenly walked directly in front of her with a group of people, many of whom were powerful, forcing Zhou Yun and Zhou Lan to take a step back. "Did you get the video?" Zhou Yun asked Zhou Lan in a low voice. Zhou Lan asked, "Should we take the initiative to release it?" "Not for now." Zhou Yun extended his hands and hugged Zhou Lan's neck, pressing his entire body against it. "I'm so tired. It's been hard, just hold on a little longer. After work, you can go back to the hotel." Zhou Lan patted Zhou Yun's shoulder and said, "I won't be working tomorrow morning. You can sleep a little longer." When preparing for procurement, I mainly asked a few questions related to the recording of this episode. What is your impression of everyone, and is there anything you want to say? A very common question, but it is also a question that everyone enjoys reading. Every fan of a celebrity enjoys watching other celebrities praise their idols. Zhou Yun basically achieved a bowl of water that was flat and slightly tilted, namely Su Yan and Lu Qingqing. "I'm not in the same team as Yan Yan this time, so I don't have many opportunities to chat, but she's really beautiful," Zhou Yun said, revealing his starry eyes. "Miss Qingqing really takes care of me, not as cold and aloof as she says online. Moreover, she gets along very warmly in private because I'm new here and I'm afraid I'll be embarrassed by myself. She always talks to me and leaves me a topic. Thank you very much to her." At the end of the work, it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Zhou Yun and Zhou Lan boarded the car back to the hotel. It wasn't until then that Zhou Lan had time to talk to Zhou Yun about the follow-up of her morning explosion news. In the evening, Song Qi and his company finally issued a clarification statement. "The public opinion online is okay with you now, because we clarified early and guided us a bit. Most of us are now accusing those unscrupulous marketing accounts." Zhou Yun nodded and yawned. "But because of the heat this time, there are several collaborations coming to you," Zhou Lan said. "I plan on going forward." Zhou Yun nodded and said, "Lan Jie, you can make a decision on this matter. The cooperative relationship between the two is more trusting than that between a typical agent and artist. Wait a moment for me to post on Weibo, just say that I just finished recording the weather is really nice. Zhou Yun said, Director Wang, please ask me. Now is the time when Zhou Yun has the highest popularity. She posted a Weibo post promoting, this weather is really nice, which also has a great promotional effect on the program. Even the most popular programs require data analysis, as this data needs to be presented to advertisers. Not only ratings and views, but in this era of social media, engagement and discussion have also become indicators for measuring a program. Zhou Yun handed his phone directly to Zhou Lan and said, you can send it, I'm not clear-headed right now. Zhou Lan picked up his phone, turned on the camera function, and said, look here, take a photo. Zhou Yun opened his eyes, exerted himself, and smiled. Zhou Lan will upload the photos, accompanied by the text. End of work, looking forward to seeing you soon in, this weather is really nice. Alright, Zhou Lan returned his phone to Zhou Yun. You can take a nap, I'll call you when it's time. Zhou Yun squinted his eyes in an instant and fell asleep. In a daze, I had a dream. In her dream, she was still the pearl held in the palm of her parents' hands. Childhood happiness is colorful, and the carousel carries her laughter. All the sadness has not yet arrived, and all the misfortunes have not yet occurred. Until a sudden car accident occurred and my parents passed away. Zhou Yun felt palpitations and woke up with a start. Outside the car window is a quiet city, and in the late night, even the street lights appear lonely. She pressed her head against her head with a sense of disappointment, and it took her a while to shake her mind. The hotel has arrived, you can go back to sleep now. Zhou Lan turned around and called out her name, Zhou Yun, wake up, it's here. Zhou Yun exclaimed, actually waking up long ago. End of this chapter.